This is a 2004 Ford Excursion, and this is going to be my new vehicle to tow with. And I was looking for a tow vehicle to tow a trailer because I'm going to be starting a lawn care business. And I picked this up at a dealership. I looked around a bunch of lots and just happened upon this car. And it looked like it was in pretty good condition. I was looking at trucks, but the trucks were all very expensive, and it seems like you get a better deal on SUVs. So I picked this thing up for $4,000 out the door with taxes. It's not perfect. It's got a few blemishes here and there, but mechanically it ran great. Transmission is good, has really nice looking wheels, no road rash on them, and this should be perfect. It's going to tow 5,000 pounds, and just needs a few things to get her up and running. Paint is a little bit worn out here on some panels. I may end up taking it down to Econo Auto Painting, and they do the $350 paint special. So we'll see how that works out. But other than that, it's all pretty rust free. There's a few little spots of rust here and there that I think I can either fix myself or have fixed. This door looks like it needs some attention, and this panel here, I don't know if it was they spray painted it or something, but other than that, the paint is all pretty good. Let me show you the inside. So the interior looks really nice. It's a little rip in the seat that was repaired, but other than that, I mean, this is so much nicer than some of the other vehicles I looked at. No rips and tears to speak of. I got the three rows of seating, but I got them all folded down because I'll be using it more as a utility vehicle. I may throw a push mower and some tools like rakes and whatnot back in here. It's got a Pioneer stereo. It's a $350 Apple CarPlay stereo, but I can't get that to turn on. So I checked the fuses. The fuses were all good. So I ordered the tool. I'm going to be pulling out this stereo, checking the fuse on the back side of the stereo, testing it for power and see what's going on there. This thing has ice cold air and only 153,000 miles. So that's looking really good. It's just a two-wheel drive, but that's all I need. Nice, comfortable SUV. So I'm going to be fixing a few issues. The only main issues are the brakes. Have some problems, and I'm going to be doing the headlight restoration and fixing a leak there at the windshield, a small leak back there on the roof rack. But other than that, that's all there is to speak of. So this is my $4,000 tow vehicle. I just got rid of my Mercedes ML500, and I regretted selling it because I used it all the time to go to Home Depot and do projects and whatnot. This car has a tow hitch already installed. There's a little bit of rust here, you can see. I might be able to fix that. And then something going on up here, I think that might be fixable too. So the roof looks good, and these alloys are mint condition. I think these were put on there because they don't look like they've ever been scratched. But yeah, so this is it, and I'm going to be doing my journey to building a lawn care trailer setup, and I'll be doing that here on YouTube. And the first thing to do is get this truck in order, and then I'll be going out to buy my trailer and getting that set up. Right now I've got a riding mower, a Cub Cadet, I bought this recently for 700 bucks and it runs great. I have a lot over here on the other side of this fence that I bought, so I mow that lot with the weeds. And this mows great. It's a 54-inch deck. And I might just start out using this and a push mower, a self-propelled push mower. And then of course getting the trimmers and the edgers and the blowers and all that stuff. Eventually, you know, I kind of wish I had a zero-turn mower, but once my business gets up and running, I think I'll upgrade to the zero-turn, but this will be my starter mower for now. And I'll keep you guys updated on this car. We're going to be ordering some parts, and as soon as that's all said and done, I'm going to be getting my trailer. I'm going to look at a Tractor Supply trailer first, the $1,000 5x8 trailer. Seems like a good choice, and getting that thing all set up. One of the other reasons I really like having an SUV is we have hurricanes here in Florida, and if we get a big hurricane coming our way, we need to evacuate. I need a vehicle that I could throw all my animals in, the dog, the 2 cats. We could put a foam mattress down. Everyone can stay in the vehicle. We can have a litter box back there. I can sleep in it if I need to. And everybody can be transported in the event of an emergency. So that's one of the reasons I really needed the SUV. Okay, first order of business is that we had a water leak coming in right under the rear view mirror here at the top of this windshield. So what I've done is took some black silicone used for windows and kitchens and stuff, and I just lifted up this rubber trim and went all along in there with a good bead of silicone, and hopefully that's going to take care of that leak right there. Okay, the other leak that we've got was right back here. I think around this area, one of these screws in my roof rack is leaking. Okay, I took 2 of these screws out here. This one here and this one here. And one screw was clean and the other one was rusty. And this rusty one is right where the leak is coming through down there. So that's the problem area right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wrap this with some Teflon tape and put it back in, and that should hopefully fix the problem. Okay, I got this cleaned out with some PB Blaster and a wire brush. Get that rust off there. Got this thing wrapped with the Teflon tape, and I'm hoping that works. I think what I'm going to also do is put a little dab of this silicone right before I tighten this down under here, just to see if I can get a little extra thing going on right there to seal that up. Okay, I got those screws back in with the Teflon tape, and while I was up here, I went ahead and threw some silicone in all along this whole channel, because there was a lot of cracking and areas where the water looks like it was causing some rust underneath. So hopefully that takes care of that. And we're going to see if these leaks are repaired as soon as the next time it rains. Okay, next thing I'm looking at is some rust spots here along this step guard, or whatever it is, side step thing. I'm just going to hit it with some rough sponge and maybe a little bit of PB Blaster. See how that comes out. Alright, that shined that up real nice. Okay, next step is we're going to jack this thing up and take the wheels off one at a time. And when I got this car, the brakes felt real spongy, so I checked the reservoir and it was bone dry. So I'm going to start one wheel at a time, taking these off and bleeding the brakes and doing a brake flush, getting all that air out and putting some new fluid in there. Okay, I filled up that brake reservoir, and what I'm going to be using is a Harbor Freight brake bleeder vacuum pump kit. Got me some brake fluid, and we're going to attach it right back here to the bleeder nipple, right there. Okay, there was another kit that they sell that automatically fills up your brake reservoir as you're bleeding, but I didn't get that kit. I just bought the bleeder vacuum pump type one. So I'm going to keep this thing filled pretty high all the way up, and I'm just going to keep coming back and checking it to make sure that I'm not running completely out, because I don't want to introduce air back through into the system if that runs all the way down to the bottom. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of PB Blaster on there. It seems to be stuck pretty tight. Let that sit for a minute. I'm just going to tap this a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of grease over that nipple area to create a good seal there with the tube. Okay, the brake fluid is going to come out into this cup. I put this inside of a cup because this needs to stay upright. You don't want this to spill over, and you don't want any of this fluid to start coming in to here. You want it to stay in the cup. If it comes up to this gun, you're going to ruin your gun. So that's why we use a cup, to make sure it all stays flowing down into the cup and not through to the tool. Okay, what I'm going to do is start getting the vacuum going here. Okay, here we go. To about 25. Alright, and then we're going to release this. And here comes the fluid. And a lot of air coming out. Yeah, that looked like there was a lot of air in those lines. Okay, so we lost vacuum. I'm going to just keep on pumping that up until we get a nice steady flow of fluid coming through there. There we go. A lot of air coming out of that thing. Those brakes were so terrible. It's like spongy. And it looks like the fluid's pretty dirty too. Alright. So far. Man, that was some filth. Oh, I didn't take that. I was supposed to take something out of there, but there was something in there I didn't take out, but that's fine. I'll get it out in a second here. Okay, so what I've been doing is just pumping it while I've got the nipple open, and then closing it off And so far I've got some real filthy looking fluid coming out of here and still a lot of air. So I'm going to empty that out, and then I'm going to keep checking my reservoir to make sure I'm not getting low. And we'll just get it going until we start seeing clean fluid coming out of there. Okay, it looks like I was maybe missing a piece here. That little black part was supposed to go in there, in those parts that I found. So hopefully that'll give me a little bit better of a seal, because I think air might have been coming in through this hose, because it seemed like a lot more air than should be coming out of there. So we're going to see if that works a little bit better. And I got my second cup full of dirty fluid already, and I'm pouring it out over here. All right, so I wasn't able to get the air to stop coming out of the lines there. So I think there's another problem here that I'm seeing. Now listen when you hear press the brake pedal. You start hearing that hissing, and then the hissing goes away. Now, if I have the engine running, hiss, that hiss means that there's some kind of leak in either the lines or the brake, the booster. Brake booster has gone bad, the diaphragm, the rubber diaphragms that go in there. So I think what I might need to do is to test those lines to see if there's a leak, or just go ahead and buy a new brake booster and install that. It says to hold that until the pedal goes soft. Until it goes hard, and then start the engine. And then if it remains hard like it is now, that means your booster is bad. But if the pedal goes soft, the booster is good once you start the engine. Yeah, the pedal went soft. So sounds like the booster might be good. It might be just a cracked or leaking booster line. So we're going to test that. Okay, this is that brake booster test I just did. I made the pedal go hard. I held the brake pedal, started the engine, and then the brake pedal lowered after the engine fired up. So that means the brake booster is good. If the pedal remained hard, the brake diaphragm would be bad. So that's one thing. You don't want to just buy parts and do parts can and shoot parts at it. That becomes very expensive. So the first thing I'm going to check here is to test the brake booster vacuum line. Get some brake cleaner, and we're going to spray that on the line, and then if there's a crack in the line, the carb cleaner will go into the engine, and you'll notice an idle speed drop. So we're going to go get some carb cleaner and shoot it on that brake line and see if there's a leak in the line. Okay, so we're going to, it looks like the main problem here is going to be a leaking master cylinder, because it's going to, the brake booster tested good. So if you have noticed that the brake fluid is missing, it's an obvious sign of a leaking master cylinder. And when I opened that thing up, it was bone dry. So I'm thinking that's going to be the problem, is a leaking master cylinder. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and replace the master cylinder. I will test that that vacuum line first, but since it was low on brake fluid, I'm going to bet that master cylinder needs to be replaced. Okay, so this is kind of a two-man job, because even with this bleeder kit, I need somebody in the car to press down on that pedal while I open it, and then as soon as they press down, I close it, and then they let up, and then they press down again, and I open it, and then do that three times. So I don't have anyone here right now to help me with that, so I'm really thinking I'm just going to go ahead and order me a new master cylinder, and hopefully that'll take care of that hissing problem when I'm pressing on the brakes. I got brand new ones on eBay for 38 bucks. So I'll get that ordered up, and then we'll get back to bleeding these brakes later. I kind of also don't like the looks of these rotors. I mean, they don't feel smooth. There's some grooves there. The pad's looking about more than half gone. So I don't know, maybe I should do pads and rotors while I'm down here. But for now, I'm just gonna button this back up and get those parts ordered and see if we can address that problem with the hissing first. Okay, so I got some parts ordered. I got the master cylinder, brand new part for 40 bucks on eBay. That was like a $90 part at O'Reilly's. And I ordered the radio removal tools for the Pioneer, $6.86. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and just replace the brake booster while I'm in there. The part was like 75 bucks at walmart.com, and you know, it's a 20-year-old part, might as well just get it all done while everything's apart. You know, for $110 to replace those two parts, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than what a mechanic would charge me. You know, he'd probably want 500, 800 bucks to do a job like this. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and order up some rotors and pads maybe too while I'm down there. Well, maybe not. I'll see what I can do with this. I think those rotors and pads may last me a little while longer. Another thing I noticed while I was reading the instructions here, you know, the air, I couldn't get the air to come out of those lines, but there's a little tapered hose adapter that's supposed to go between there and there. That could be the reason why air was coming back in through there. So it's always good to read the instructions on these things. So when I go back and redo that, I'm going to try with that part, see if that works better.